Call roll, please.
Mr. McNulty.
Here.
Mr. Von Miller.
Here.
Mr. Dark.
Here.
Mr. Darcy. Here.
Well, we're here to hear again, ZON-26-02. Roger, you want to give another staff report for this?
Sure, I'll quickly go over the staff report. Don't have a whole lot to add. If you'll recall, this was a continuation from the meeting in June. The applicant has not submitted any changes since the previous hearing, so the facts remain essentially the same. The brief recap, we're talking about property at 449 Road. The current zoning is FR1, acreage property is 18.667 acres. And the request is to rezone those 18.667 acres from FR1 to the neighborhood district. The proposed sketch submitted by the applicant shows a potential lot split that would subdivide the current parcel into 3 separate parcels. One home is currently on the existing parcel. If you scroll down, you can see the outline of the property, teal there, road frontage up north, kind of curving around U-shaped fashion. Down below is Exhibit A, which is the proposed sketch plan that was submitted by the applicant. Site plan shows how the parcel could be split into 3 separate lots. Lot 1 would contain 1.778 acres. Lot 2 would contain 2.568 acres. The remainder parcel would have 14.063 acres. Return to that sketch in a minute once we complete the staff report. In terms of staff review, reminder that the neighborhood zone is a straight zoning district, so it would have development standards which are shown on the page there, also found within our zoning code, which you can find on our website, orangetow.org, if you'd like some light reading. We do note that the proposed sketch plan appears to comply with all the neighborhood zone standards regarding the lot dimensions. But we do remind the commission that the final layout of the lots could vary because the neighborhood zone is a straight district. As long as any future lots comply with these regulations, that layout would be approved administratively and would not necessarily come before the zoning commission or trustees unless there were deviations from the standards that are in place in the neighborhood zone. The 2018 comprehensive plan refers to these parcels located in sub-area 8. Recommendation 8-4 in that plan states that land on the west side of Gooding Boulevard within 1,500 feet of home road is recommended to be residential, 2 units per acre for office use. Parcel is shown as single family in the future land use map of the 2018 comprehensive plan. Only other comment is that there is a 20% minimum open space requirement that would need to be addressed, but that could be done at the lot split or plat phase. The Delaware County Regional Planning Commission did vote to recommend conditional approval of the application at their meeting on June 25, 2026, subject to 2 conditions. The first being that all points of access must adhere to zoning, Delaware County subdivision regulations, and county engineer standards. And if the pond is proposed to be filled, all necessary permits must be submitted and approved prior to construction. So just a reminder for everyone, generally when properties are split or platted, the county handles further review at that time, which typically involves access management in terms of driveways, traffic, stormwater. That is when all that is reviewed at that phase. Also a reminder that the commission's vote this evening is a recommending vote. After the commission has made a recommendation, it will be submitted to the township trustees. They will set a hearing date in the future, and the trustees will vote to ultimately approve or deny the rezone. That's all I have for now. Happy to answer any questions the commission has.
Does the applicant have anything to not made any changes?
Hello everyone, I'm Caleb Wade with Data Zoning. You're representing a law family. I do not have much to add other than regional planning's recommendation to move forward with the rezone. Does not have much change, so if you guys have any questions for me, I'd be happy to discuss. Thanks.
Well, since we heard a lot from the audience last time, I will let anyone speak who has something new to add that they didn't add last time. Could you keep it to 3 minutes, give your name and address, please. Well, we heard a lot from you last time, we already understand what your concerns are. Is there anyone?
Really, just have a question. My name is Richard Schrock, 7186 Lake Bend Drive. My question is there any expectation of taking the road through to other properties, beyond the properties that we're talking?
So at this time, there is no road that's proposed. If a road were being proposed in the future, it could in theory connect to other properties. That's something that the county engineer typically recommends, is that stub streets be installed if appropriate, but at this time, we haven't seen any roads proposed, so there's no plans at this time.
Is there anyone else?
Hi, my name is Connie Moore. I'm at 380 Pumpkin Court. We discussed, like you said, a lot of concerns are for all these neighboring things. And at the very end of the meeting last time, we talked about possibly needing a happy medium in taking that third loop of properties and maybe writing a deed or something to the effect of this property will stay as is. Could that be written in? And it was discussed, and I was really anticipating that you would try to meet us halfway. That way, they get to do what they want to do with their lots and build their homes, and then we would all be happy because that property would be untouched. And I'm really curious as to why that wasn't pursued, because that would be the best case scenario, because all of us are concerned about losing our view, losing the trees, losing the property, blah, 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 which we all discussed at length, and that those stay. That makes the most sense to me personally. I'm just curious why that wasn't pursued, because I don't think that would be the best in everyone's interest and then everyone's happy.
I know, I can't remember the gentleman's name. I know he was in contact with me a few weeks ago and he brought up a proposition. We discussed it with a Long family of with a 50-foot preservation like easement along that strip. After discussion with it, we chose not to move forward with that due to being able to restrict what we can and the family's options for the future.
So there you go.
Does the applicant have anything else they'd like to add?
May I say something? The concern of the view,
You need to address your meeting.
oh, I'm so sorry. I'm already way with the zoning. Do you need anything else? Okay. So as far as making any deed restrictions, that hasn't, been determined one way or the other, but oftentimes deed restrictions actually devalue the client's land. They have no intention of developing this further, but it does devalue the land for future sale for that, even if they were not going to develop that. Normally deed restrictions are frowned upon on trying to sell that land. The view that am I allowed to ask a question? That I'm concerned about with the view. This family's had this property for many years, have paid taxes on it. I don't know if there's some sort of confusion. The subdivision that is adjacent to it does have areas that have been restricted for their view. So there was never a contract with that subdivision with our property owners that was some sort of easement or any sort of contract that our property is by any means related to that subdivision in their view. They pay taxes on it, they've paid for the land, and they've had it for a number of years. And so I just didn't want there to be any confusion that there was maybe some sort of underlying contract somewhere that we were not necessarily upholding.
All right, thank you very much. I would like to say to the commission and to everyone here, everyone, thank you very much for showing up these last 2 meetings. You have these rights to do this, to protest, yes, you do. The landowners, the property owners have equal rights to sell their property and work with our zoning department and maintain the property within the zoning that Orange Township has set. They have the same rights. All right, so anyone else from the audience like to speak, or one more of you like to speak?
Hi, White, 445, Homer Road. I'm just wondering if there a happy middle ground where maybe the fronting lot would be rezoned and remaining 14 with remaining zoned as it is, doesn't cut them off from doing anything they want to do in the future, it just takes that away from zoning at this point in time. I don't know if that's possible or not, or whether they even want to, but
That gets to be their choice.
pardon?
That gets to be their choice. That gets to be the property owner's choice.
Yeah,
It's the property
very
owner's
good.
choice.
That's all I had.
May I address that again?
Sure.
We certainly, would love we would have done that rather than rezoning, but when you changed our zoning code, it did not allow that road frontage unless we did do this rezoning. So prior to the change, we could have, done this without rezoning and kept it that FR1 rather than the neighborhood district, but in order to make 3 lots with the road frontage that we had, unfortunately, we had to rezone it to get that 70-foot, road frontage requirement met.
Yeah, so the issue is that the FR1 district currently, requires 150-foot of road frontage, on home road. And so you can, see in the proposed sketch, the 3 lots are proposed to have 70, and then 160 feet, of lot width on home road. So that meets the neighborhood, requirements, which is 70 feet, but not the FR1 requirements.
Anything else from the board? We'll close the public comments. So here we are. Decision.
And just to remind the commission, in general, we've been used to dealing with planned districts, which, lay out everything in advance, and you are able to get modifications on those. Because this is a straight zoning district, your only 2 options are to recommend approval or recommend denial. There is no, conditions or modifications.
Motion by Karthik to recommend to the board, township trustees, the board, the approval of zoning application ZON-26-02 of A to zoning LLC. The pages of which are each stamped PCA with Orange Township zoning, requesting the rezoning of 18.667 acres from farm residential to neighborhood district. Upon finding that it is in the interest of public convenience, comfort, prosperity, or general welfare, or sufficiently in accordance with the comprehensive plan.
Second.
Motion and second for approval. Those voting, Mr. McNulty,
Yes.
Mr. Vadamula,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
No.
Mr. Garcia.
Yes.
Motion carries. So as a reminder, the township trustees will set a hearing date for this rezoning at the regular meeting tomorrow, so that will be within 30 days of tomorrow.
Thank you.